Hello, everybody. Greetings from Estonia. And I have to say that I'm not a specialist of rivers. I'm working for an environmental board in Estonia, and I'm the advisor of nature conservation. But as I have worked more than 30 years in this topic, something is also common to me in this river restoration. And today I would like to give you overview about the activities that we have done in last years. I have got some information from our Department of Water Life, and also from Ministry. So I hope that you will see soon my presentation, but I think I will continue with talks. So Estonia is quite small, especially if to compare with Germany that had just now the floor. But still we try to do also a lot of works and to fulfill all the needs that are important for the fish and also some other protected species. I would say that river restoration is not so much connected with thank you, I can see it. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can.
Yes. So here is the first page, and I would like to thank here Hanno Zingel and Tauno Jürgenstein, who also gave me some pictures and some ideas of what to talk you about what is going on in Estonia. And the background picture is the logos of our national parks. So we have here the nesting areas and birds and oaks and the small hills from different national parks all together. So on the next slide, you can see how tiny is Estonia. Also, our population is not very big. We are living mostly in two bigger towns and in countryside less people. But we have a quite long coastline and lot of islands. So the cornflower is our national flower, and barn swallow is the national bird. So next slide, please. Some specificities of Estonia that, for example, in Soma National Park in springs, we have every year, we call it the fifth season, when almost all the national park is flooded. And that is a great party for tourists who are coming in big flocks with canoes to join this water party. Next slide, please. Also in Estonia, as our bottom is partly limestone bottom, we have karstic water bodies which are very secret. We should learn more about this, so how the water is connected under the ground, and we have to protect this system not to poison or not to damage them. So the next slide, please. In 2015, like in I think in all countries in Europe, we had also inventory of the rivers and streams, and there was made a huge action plan, which was according to the Water Framework Directive. Here you can see, sorry, that in Estonian, which are the rivers which are marked, some are in bad condition, some need more investigations. and some are polluted. So the next slide, please. The main pressures and threats to the rivers are, of course, dams. Like today, we have heard in many presentations, but also intensification of agriculture, pollution of water due to the urban runoffs, and melioration. In Estonia, the melioration is mostly in majority the drainage to drain the fields to have more dry land, and also today it was many times said that it is not good for the natural rivers. There is too few water in natural rivers, and also this drainage system is bringing quite quickly different agricultural or urban chemicals to the natural rivers. But mainly the dams are in our first focus. So please, the next slide. Here is the historical overview of different kind of barriers which have been the dams. They were used long time, and still now we can see the remains on the rivers as barriers. So the priority of our works in rivers is to take down these barriers, these dams, and it costs quite a lot. But with the taking down them, we can have more practical works and we can get more knowledge how to do it cheaper, quicker, and better for the nature. And the next slide, please. So on in the protected areas, uh, we have also some dams, and there we have focused to the salmon rivers, especially to create fish spawning sites, to restore the natural river habitats. I will tell you more in the next slides, and of course removal of the dams. But also we are working with some protected species. So restoration of river habitats have been used, the works have been used, the money from cohesion funds. We have taken down more than 100 dams and reopened the flows for the fish. But also we have made some small meanders and brought gravel to the rivers to make a better bottom. Also, it is important to have some trees around the rivers, but in some cases we have removed the bushes. So it depends in what species are in the action plans. One of our more popular or the life projects which are connected to the rivers were in Alam-Petja Nature Reserve, which is the Natura 2000 site, and is covered with many larger and smaller rivers. And here the connection between rivers were reopened, and also a lot of oxbows were opened for fish, for spawning areas, and these restoration activities have been very popular among the anglers or the fishermen, and also recreational activities. So these happy fish and happy rivers were very known projects, and they were led by Meelis Tambets and Rein Järvekülg. So if you have more interest, you can contact these people, and of course you are very welcome to look these results in Estonia. Next slide, please. So one of the biggest project in Estonia, I think, was to clean up Pärnu River from dams and other obstacles. This is quite long river with a big catchment area, which has been connected with each other. This river has been very important for fish, but in history, step by step, the catchment area was closed to the fish. So all this project had 15 million euros, and mostly it came from cohesion funds. The leader organization was Environmental Agency, which was leading this project, and the project actually lasted quite longly, but the prehistory has been very long. So almost 50 years there had been discussions to take down these dams, but still there was a lot of private owners, especially one dam, Sindi Dam, which was the biggest one, was belonged to the private owner, and they had plans to restore it for electricity. But finally, government bought this dam, and the projects could start. So next slide, please. So here you can see the Pärnu River catchment area, and close to the sea there was the big Sindi dam. On the first picture you can see the dam. On the right side you can see the canal which was made as a fish pass, but in the investigations in 2000, it shows that actually the fish couldn't use it very much, and there was a plan to take this dam down. And after state bought this out from the private owners, the work started. And the picture down here, you can see afterwards the dam was taken down. The quite long riffle was made. Also, there was a social interest to have a part of the water for the swimming pool that was also given to the community. And now we would say that this huge riffle is very popular among the people who are using canoes and kayaks. There are a lot of competitions, and the people are very happy for this. Also, the fishermen are very happy, and I think a lot of people are happy about this what has happened. But nowadays we have got another problem, and these are the cormorants, because a lot of fish started to use this river for spawning. And in springtime there are a huge amount of cormorants. Now we have discussion and round tables, and we have made some decisions to reduce the number of cormorants. So always when you are doing something, you have the next step. So we are in the process for fish on the next steps. But the cormorants, I think, are the really good natural indicators to show that the river is now used by a lot of fish. Next slide, please. So recently, last year, there have been also some smaller rivers project which were run by our own organization. They were closed, River Salem and Häädemeeste rivers. The name, of course, are not saying to you much, but these are the small ones. We have removed the remains of the dams or tried to make from the ditches the more natural river flows. There have been brought some gravel, some stones to make a better flow for the fish spawning areas. But still, we can see that in smaller rivers, we have even in the end of the spring and summer too few water. And that is the result of the drainage around the rivers. So the first step, when the spring starts, there is a lot of water and very quick flow, but after that there is almost nothing. So these first steps are maybe good for the beginning, but we should do something else to keep the rivers all year round with the water. Next slide, please. And then if I can see the next slide here, we also are dealing with problems in the river mouths, especially in the very lowland where the river mouths are growing over with the reeds. There are a lot of sediments and sometimes also a lot of nutrients from the fields, so that gives a chance to the reed beds to grow. And for the fish, there is also not much possibilities to go to the spawning areas. So 2020 or the last year on Saunia, close to Saunia Bay, the small river mouths were opened and connected, and the first inventories and starting monitoring shows that fish started to use these small canals. I think that for future, for the next project, we would like to make not so straight canals, but more natural. That was just a beginning. And also, I think that these kind of water bodies are good not only for the fish, but other protected fish species or other fish eating species like bitterns. So next slide, please. In dealing with the rivers, sometimes we have projects which are focused for very certain species. So I have talked about salmon rivers, but also we have cyclostomata species, we have burr mussels, and on a small island, Hiiumaa Island, we have special area where we are trying to get back the European mink population, and the mink also need very natural rivers, which gives them chance to stay in the nature. With the pearl mussel in Estonia, we have only one river with this species. Of course, first it was important to bring back the salmon, then also removal of mud and remains of the beaver dams, and now we are catching and growing them artificially and bringing them back to the river. And it seems this project is going quite well. The results are very good. Of course, we have learned a lot from our neighboring countries, and we are very thankful for that. And I'm also very thankful that I had a chance to give you this short overview what we are doing in Estonia. And my last slide. I think it should be about last slide. Yes, thank you. And that's all.